All right, looks like we're recording. I'd like to give my thoughts today on this. The SvBony SV220 dual band filter. It's a filter designed for photographing emission nebula, maybe planetary nebula, bright planetary nebula, and other things which emit hydrogen alpha or oxygen 3 light. As you can see from the chart here, almost all of the hydrogen alpha and oxygen 3 light passes through the filter, and the filter blocks almost all other frequencies. This makes it really, really good, particularly in light polluted areas, to photograph things that you otherwise would not be able to photograph. For instance, I took 1 hour, that's 61 minute subs, of North American Nebula. When I finished, what I had was a star field, a bunch of stars. It didn't pick up any nebula. I then inserted this filter, refocused, went back to North American Nebula, and on the first 1 minute sub, there was a North American Nebula. Obviously, and you can see the outline, you can see it was red. Really neat. Now, most things are going to show up as red using this, and that's because hydrogen alpha, when excited, when it's ionized, glows with a red color. If you see it with some other color, it's because the color was changed during post-processing. I went to pick out a few photographs to show that I took with this. Found I'd taken like 40, so I'll pick out the best dozen or so to show at the end of the video. One thing you'll need to do if you're going to try to use this is make sure you have your capturing software set up properly. I normally run my SvBony 405 one-shot color camera at about 121 gain and 0 offset. With this, I have to run it at 350 gain and 50 offset. And that's because this is blocking out almost all the light. Blocks out moonlight, certainly blocks out all the street lights, and it blocks out most of the starlight. And the software, your software, which is I'm using SharpCap Pro, and it's trying to stack this stuff in real time. And if I use 121 gain, it can't see enough stars to line them up to stack them. So you'll need to up your gain. And you'll need to up your, I normally, when I'm taking stuff, I usually run about 121 gain, 0 offset. It's called black, 0 black in SharpCap, and 4 to 8 second subs. You got to do a full 1 minute sub with this. If you don't, it doesn't come out right. It took me 20 or 30 pictures before I could get this to work, before I could get all the settings properly. If you do a 8 second gain, you come up with real grainy noise all over the place. And obviously the longer the duration of the sub, the less noise you get, and the higher the gain, the less noise you get. And this is real noisy if you're not setting everything up right. I like it. I found that if you're just trying to take a picture of like the Pleiades or Mesa 31 in Andromeda, most things that aren't hydrogen alpha or oxygen 3 rich, it takes forever to get any kind of picture at all, and you're better off with no filter. And the one thing, I've photographed a whole ton of stuff, and they were all red, except the veil. When I photographed the veil using this, there was bands of gases that were twirling around each other. There was red, and there was also kind of a greenish blue, oxygen 3. So one time I've seen oxygen 3 in this using a one-shot color camera. Anything else? Oh, I paid $160 for it, $159.95, $160 when it first came out, and right now it's selling for like $120, $119.95 on Amazon. So the price has come down. So it's a better bargain than it was then. I've watched some other people's reviews of this filter. A lot of them have problems with halos. I've never had a problem with halos. In fact, I've never had any halos. And I think that may be because of my optical train. What I run is this plugs into the telescope, and this over here is where you screw the camera on, and this is a filter wheel right here by it, and that's where the filter's at. And I've never had a halo on anything, including Almatac. I'm not sure. It could be because I'm using a field reducer corrector. Maybe the folks who are having those problems aren't using a field reducer. I don't know. But I've never, as you'll see from the photographs, I don't have any halos around any of my stuff. When you look at Almatac, however, you'll notice there's Almatac. It's all bloated. It's a bright star. And then there's two other stars on the same screen. One of them has a little red halo around it. It's not a halo. That's hydrogen alpha. It's a small nebula around that star. And the other one has a little kind of a gray, whitish looking halo around that. That's not a halo. That's actually a reflection nebula. There's some gas there that's not excited. It's not ionized, and it's reflecting light off the star. If you have now, there's a bunch of nebula you can photograph without this. Trifid Nebula, for instance, it shows up fine without any filter. In fact, I've photographed that with my 102 millimeter f9.2 simple refractor. Showed up right off. There's the red of the nebula, and there's some gray of the reflection. It's broken into 4 parts. It's got an emission and a reflection nebula. Both of them show up fine without any filter. Other things like North American Nebula, where I'm at least, you really need a dual band filter if you're going to get any nebulosity at all. So for things that you aren't getting any nebulosity for, you will with this right off the bat. The Sol Nebula, I took photographs of that 20 times or more. Never could get anything to come out. With this, right off the bat, there's the Sol Nebula, just like it looks online. It's a good filter. It costs about half as much, actually less than half as much now, as the hold on. Yeah, it's running about 120. The Optilong Extreme, big competitor, it's running 310 right now on Amazon. So it's very inexpensive. It's 7 nanometers. So the band, I mean, you got the exact frequency of those two lights and about 3.5 nanometers either way, which is good. It's not letting in a whole lot of extraneous light. I recommend it if you're having if you photograph a lot of nebula and you're having problems with some of them. What about visual? I suppose you could use it for visual. It'll make things pop. I've tried other. I tried CLS filter, City Light Suppression Filter. It's supposed to make nebulas pop. Didn't make nebulas pop. Just gave it any yellow caps. I couldn't see any nebulas. This makes nebulas pop. If there's any hydrogen alpha or oxygen 3 in them. Yeah. That's all I got to say about it. So here's some photographs I took with it. All of these, every single one of these, are 60 minutes worth of 60-second subs. So 1 hour each. I don't have any 3 or 4 hour photographs in this. And I don't have any 10-minute photographs. They're all exactly 1 hour. So I hope you enjoy them. And if you have a need for this, pretty good buy. Oh, and I've got a new spotlight here, right over there. And I haven't put I've got a new collar microphone right here, which I'm not wearing yet. But I'm trying to get my production quality up and make better videos. So until we meet again, happy trails.